Hi everyone, back to Master versus Many, and I loaded up the position today to make my move and suddenly realized I think I've already screwed up the position I was trying to reach. It's ridiculous. I was shooting for this game, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave versus Topalov back in London, and um, that was my intention, thinking that I was right along the same lines as where the game is headed, and talking constantly about how I needed to analyze the position and remind myself of the theory and look it up. And I continuously didn't actually do it, as I should have. And the move that Maxime played here was actually knight to d5 instead of castles, which is critical. After knight takes, queen takes, and the rook moves to b8, that's when you play bishop to e3, with the point being that the queen can tuck back behind the bishop. And we're going to reach the position that we would reach the position I had been shooting for, which is one where white has a little bit of an edge. One thing to note about the coordination is that the queen and bishop also work together to stop this bishop from trying to get a dark square trade. Not that it's right away an idea for black. If you're a Najdorf Sicilian player, you need to always be careful about that trade because it weakens the d6 pawn. That's just an educational tip. But I didn't play knight to d5 voluntarily on b5. And instead, I castled. And after bishop to b7, here we stand. So this position, I actually did, once you guys played bishop b7 and I knew officially I was definitely not going to get that game that I had been sort of pulling on from my memory and my intuitive kind of understanding of the position, I realized that, okay, I need to actually use the Opening Explorer and use my chess-based database tools, all legal, right? No chess engines. None of you are using that. So I actually analyzed the position for the opening, and this position hasn't been played very many times. I can still voluntarily put the knight on d5. I can also still wait for b4. I can actually play a4 here and sort of force matters. A4, b4, knight d5, and the position is still kind of similar. You have the positional struggle over the light squares. I can try to expose the weak pawns on the queen side. But black it is better for black because I've had to close the d file, again, because I didn't play knight to d5 voluntarily when I should have, so I could take with the queen. Because I've had to close the d file, I'm not going to get as much pressure on the position. I think black is already equal. I think black has already equalized totally here, so you guys should all be happy. And I'm not going to get the lines I was hoping for. So one thing that's good about that is now we're all just completely on our own because we're getting out of the well-known roads of theory, so we all are going to be thinking and calculating and evaluating things on our own. So my debate has been, should I induce the pawn? Should I play a4 and start the process of getting the queen side going? And that's usually one of the plans the white has, both in a Sveshnikov and any Najdorfs where black has early extended the pawns, is to try to get them to come a little further and then become weaknesses. So that's a positional plan. Bishop to g5 is also a move here. They're all fine. But I'm actually going to play sort of a flexible move that officially gets us out of the road of theory. I'm going to play the move rook to e1. And the reason is I think my rook is going to be useful here in certain positions where I end up having to put the knight on d5 anyway against b4 and this sort of stuff. And depending on what lines I try to force my way through, this is kind of an idea I came up with on my own after looking at the position, realizing there was really not very much theory here, so why not try to prove that I have a different plan? I have an idea that if this is delayed, I can maybe even play things like b3 and try to get bishop a3 in and maybe try to poke at the pawn here, keeping the d file open. So I'm trying to maintain some flexibility in the position to see what move you guys play before I develop my concrete plan, knowing that the weaknesses in the structure is already fixed, but I want to have flexibility depending on whether black decides to be aggressive or develop and maybe get castled on the king side, or even go for ideas like h4. All possibilities, of course. So that's it. Let's go back to the game. Let's officially move over to the making of the moves template, and you guys will see the drum roll going. I'm playing rook e1. I am upset with myself for not getting the line I wanted because I thought I was going to bust you guys down with MVL's sweet analysis from that game, from his game with Topalov. But opening preparation or old age, right? Getting senile here with my Chewbacca shirt on seems appropriate. Drum roll, please. The move is being made. I have played rook to e1. We are officially, I think, in theoretical territory that is unknown. And let's go from there. So I've moved. I've voted. It has checked the box. It's refreshing. Officially, it confirms that we are good to go. And world, you have 23 hours and 59 minutes to make your move. So good luck. Here we go. It's going to be fun.